we're about to go somewhere odd now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is podcast hell.
It's an uncomfortable thing when like someone's like wanting to talk sports with me and then they realize that I like, fucking know everything and they don't know much, and then I have to like draw it back. I'll be like, yeah, no, first downs are great.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can name the third string quarterback on the Bills right now.
Right.
So it's it's not fun.
Yeah. I couldn't, and I'm like, and I would consider myself like a diehard Bills fan. You know what I mean? Like I've been a Bills fan my whole life. I love watching games, but like you know.
If I asked you to tell me what Orchard Park is called now, what's the new stadium called? Do you know?
No. Hold on. No. It's not. Is it after the owners or something?
I don't even know. I know it's not Orchard Park anymore. I know they renamed it.
I don't know. Yeah,
it used to be, Orchard Park, and it was.
Well, it still is. They're still playing there, right?
Yeah. But all the stadiums changed their fucking names now because it's like
Crypto.com Arena.
Doesn't that bother you?
Yeah,
it's Staples. And when you fly in, it's the old Staples Center, right. It used to be. But when you fly into LAX, it still has murals where it's called the Staples Center.
That's great.
And you're like, you should go back in.
But even Staples is stupid. Staples is still the corporation being like.
But you just get used to used to Staples. Everything that happened when we were kids is what we're used to, and that's normal.
It's not Staples.com. Like that, Crypto.com is what makes it like, come on, you're sending me to your website? Like, it's just the worst.
It's the worst. I do a bit about this on stage, but it's you just get like the Billy Joel song we're used to because it's like tragedies that were from before we were alive.
We didn't start the fire.
Yeah. But like if that song came out if a new version of that song came out, you'd be like, what the hell is this? This is the weirdest fucking thing ever to be rhyming. But you're just used to it.
January 6th, like yeah, sure.
The lines I do in the joke, I go, Sandy Hook, Deflate Gate, children raped at Penn State.
Oh God.
And people are like, all right. Like, yeah, that's the point. That's the point of the joke.
Yes.
No, but yeah, I always have to kind of gauge when people want to talk sports with me.
Sure.
Like, I'll throw out some basics.
And do you mind talking, like, because I like talking sports, but you have to understand that we'll be talking football, and I'm going to say, like, 40 Love at some point back. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to mix my sports references. Yeah. I'm going to, like, does that bother you? Because that's what I get.
No, because I appreciate the effort.
Oh, okay.
And lot of, as long as people don't do the thing, it's so annoying. Like, it's why I don't like going to Super Bowl parties and shit. I don't like watching games with people who aren't fans who have to, like, how's the ball match going?
Right.
Like, it's like fucking improviser.
Yep.
Shitty dad comedy jokes. It's like, just shut the fuck up and know that you don't know anything. Right. And that's fine.
Right.
You don't have to be insecure about the fact that your dad didn't watch football with you, and you can name off Broadway musicals that won the best Tony actress.
Right.
But you don't know where the fucking Packers play.
Right.
I don't care. Like, be you.
Sure.
But don't try to ruin what I like because you don't know about
Especially on, like, the biggest game of the... Right. It's
or
like,
any game.
Sure.
My wife was cool because, she's cool for a lot of reasons, but, like, she wasn't that into sports when we were dating. And like any woman, she pretended to be to, hook me. But then...
And now that you're trapped.
Now that I'm trapped. No, but no, like, she's open to, like, learning about it. Doesn't pretend it's her favorite thing, but, like, fine. She's like, if you tell me about, like, the story of a player that made it through the minor leagues to make it to the majors when we go to a game, so I have, like, a story to root for.
Sure.
It, like, gives her an in, so it's more like...
We're similar of, like, yeah, I think my wife could care less about football, doesn't like it, but is like, it makes me happy waking up on Sundays and watching the fucking Bills game. So she's like, you know.
And it's like, you also, we were watching, I don't really like musicals that much, but
either.
My wife loves Singing in the Rain. It's like her favorite movie. So we were watching it the other day, and I'm like, if I just, like, fucking get over myself and watch it, it's fun.
Right.
Like, no, I don't want to watch a fucking tap dance for 10 minutes, but if I just enjoy my wife enjoying it
Sure.
and see the smile on her face, it's like, I can fucking enjoy that.
Yeah.
She goes to games. Like,
right.
I feel like there's, like...
That's marriage. You're describing a healthy relationship.
It's just a fucking healthy relationship. Right. But it's like you don't even have to do it with a spouse. It's just like be open to doing something else, and like especially as comedians, it's like we'll have fucking jokes from it.
Right.
I have
100%.
musical theater jokes in my act from going to the Pantages Theater to see Phantom of the Opera.
This is a good. What you're saying is good. I agree with you. I need to be reminded of it sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, especially
what is your wife into?
I mean, we're into a lot of the same things. She writes poetry and like our musical. We have like some overlap of music, but we also have like a lot of different overlap. She's much better about like, in fact, she's given me shit before about like how much she has learned about the shit that I like and how little I've learned.
Yeah.
And like that is very valid, but it's also, well, it's just very valid. I'm a piece of shit. There's no,
but also.
Well, I think our brains work differently.
Yeah.
Like she
is probably a more normal person.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a comedian.
I guess, like
up.
asshole, piece of shit. Yeah.
I need a lot of reminders to be a good person. Like I put stuff in my calendar at work. I'm like, pet the dog. Like say hi to your wife. Like I literally like remind myself. I've started putting birthdays of people in my.
I do that
so that I remember to fucking text everyone.
Yeah,
like,
I get a calendar. Yeah, that was a huge move for me. Of like, I love shooting a happy birthday text to like someone I haven't spoken. Like, do you know what I mean? It's hey man, like happy birthday, and I'm sure they're like, I have no clue when Andrew's birthday is, and it's yeah, of course they don't. Like,
and that's the feeling is that you've got something on them.
Exactly. Go fuck you. No, but it's like it's
I know what you mean.
It's just this like. Yeah, and there's no animosity. It's a genuine happy birthday. You know what I mean? I just like that I remember that like my calendar reminds me, but I remember it.
Do you know, I probably have talked to you about this before. You know Susan Messing, the improviser?
Yeah.
I met her outside of a show in Chicago with like a group of like 10 other people. And like Tim Meadows was in the group, so there's like famous people there. But she's like, oh yeah, what'd you know? Eric. She met my friend Chris. You guys are at the pit? Oh, cool. 10-minute conversation. 2 years later, I'm walking into a theater in New York, and she's there, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like wave, but I'm like, she's not gonna fucking. Yeah. And she walks up to me and goes, stop, Eric.
Holy,
and I was like,
fuck.
Holy shit. Fucking remembered me from literally 2 years before a 10-minute conversation.
Sometimes
that's like a superpower type thing. To be able to do that?
Sometimes I think that is part of what makes them successful people, and part of what has made me not become successful is like people's ability to do that. Like her doing that, it's stuck with you.
I've told the story 100 times.
Right. And whereas like the amount of good friends of mine who have been like, you know what I mean? You're like, Eric, I texted you 2 minutes ago. You just said it's like, that I'm like, oh, again, I think it's brain stuff. Like the amount of names I blank on that I'm like, oh, and then I'm in my head at a party or whatever.
I think it's like, I've gotten better at just being like, hey man, I'm so sorry. Give me your name one more time.
Right.
And like, it almost like for me, like, I don't want to say the shame, but like, going through that and having them say the name is helpful. It's like helps like solidify it a little bit more for me.
I just retreat into my head and don't talk to anyone for the rest of the night.
Yeah. That's probably the way to go.
Yeah, I think that's the healthy way to go.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're good at saying uncomfortable things that need to be said?
No. Although like sometimes I will do that. If I really think it needs to be said, I think sometimes, but I also I think if anything, I'm good at, again, taking an uncomfortable thing and just sitting in it. Like this is like where me and my wife are different. She like won't suffer fools in that way. And I very much am fine with it.
I kind of marvel at people who are able to like, I think I'm getting better at it with just like bluntly saying, not bluntly is maybe not the right word, but like addressing the thing that needs to be said in the moment.
Right.
Like I met a guy recently and he had like some shit in his beard that made him look silly when he was talking.
Like a piece of paper
or
whatever
it was. He was eating, he was like cheese or something. I just went like, hey man, grab it. right here.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
goes, thank you.
Yes. That's great.
Like, he's not going to go like, hey, man, fuck you. I was in the middle of a story. Like, no, nobody wants cheese hanging off their fucking lip.
I mean, I do, but right. Okay.
No, just delicious. Like those types of things where I'm like, yeah, I would have retreated into myself in stupid moments like that, let alone like breaking up with people or really hard conversations you have to have. I'm just like trying to like have them be a better, I think it makes you a better person to be more honest about that stuff. Even if it's a little uncomfortable.
100%. Don't you think improv like strengthen for me like it was a revelation in improv when I realized like doing that on stage in front of people gets a laugh almost always. Like acknowledging this weird thing that like is not a normal social whatever, you know what I mean, which happens invariably because you're pretending on stage or whatever. But like calling that out, like acknowledging it, seeing it, vocalizing it, like always gets a laugh in my mind.
Yeah, because everybody's thinking it, and even if it's like a subconscious thing, it's like...
Oh, you're right. He was leaning weird against the wall.
Yeah, I felt it, and I didn't think it, but he said it before. Yeah, it's like the audio, whatever. We don't got to start talking about improv. Okay, otherwise, this podcast gets gay pretty quick. But yeah, like I always would tell people the scene is like, when I was teaching, I'd be like, the scene is like, it's like you're it's like a dusty mirror, and you would take a cloth to it, and you're like together with a teammate, you're wiping off the dust so that the scene can reveal itself. And in the end, it's a mirror and it's a reflection of you. Ooh. And then I would just suck a dude's dick and be like, I'm gay. No, I used to tell that to my students, and that's like, nice. Yeah, I had a lot of like really beautiful metaphors for it.
That you came up with?
Mm-hmm. Oh, even the way I said, I start to get.
I didn't steal them from someone.
No, I love teaching improv.
Murdered Amy Poehler and took all of her.
Yeah, just like I did use that. I used the Riddler thing from Batman Forever to steal her dreams. Turn your chair.
I thought you were putting a dildo on your forehead.
You gotta turn your chair. I'm talking to the. I want to talk to the back of your ear for the whole podcast.
This guy though,
it's a good lobe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think teaching like gets you. I never taught classes, but I like coached a bunch. We don't have to go down this.
We don't.
Okay.
But you can tell me, finish your thought.
Coming up, like having your own, whatever, metaphor, like figuring out how to like illustrate, like articulate concepts and ideas was helpful. And
it was cool. And it's fun to see people like grow. And the coolest thing that I ever got from teaching improv was like non-actory people that would take a class and would be like, my marriage is better. Yeah. I'm like a better listener. You're like, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like it really is more valuable for that than it is for comedy stuff. It's like, it's everything you get out of improv, you get in the first like year. And then the rest of the time, you're just kind of like fucking hanging with your friends and convincing yourself that, you know.
It's a career. With that said, it's hilarious. So I think for comedy, it's worth it for comedy, but it doesn't lead to any work, right? And then I agree. Like, I think it should be taught in schools. Like, that's like.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because it is that effective at life.
Well, I used to teach like teen improv classes,
and
it was fun. We did a couple like ones that were for like troubled youth, and some of the teachers struggled with it. Sure. I had a little bit of experience with that beforehand, so I was like ready. I was ready to be called a white bitch, I think, more than other people were.
Sure. I am bad at that because I don't. When kids are being assholes, I'm like, all right, like I mean, improv especially. You're like, I get it, dude. This is fucking adult make believe. Like you're ragging on me right now, and like, A, I can't insult you back because I'll get fired, and B, you're also right. It's adult make believe. Like I get it. Like let me play my adult make believe, please. Like.
stop ruining my scene.
And also you want to be like,
Thanks.
dude, this is the biggest tenet of the thing I'm trying to teach you, which is goes back to what you were talking about earlier, which is just like, be okay with something for a minute, even if you don't have to like it. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. Just like, don't be an asshole all the time.
Live your life as if maybe there's something to learn in a moment. Like maybe the thing you learn is that this sucks and you're never going to do it again. But you won't really know if it sucks if you're just being a jerk the whole time.
Right.
So just like, I get it. It sucks. This is the way I would talk
I suck.
to him.
I'm a loser. Right?
I'm a loser. This
Right.
sucks.
Right.
But like, just like trust me for an hour and just fucking do what I say. And then if you don't like it at the end, you never have to do it again.
Right. And make fun of me with your friends
But at least
afterwards.
like know that you don't like it. Don't just not like it because you were in a bad mood because, you're.
Or you think you know everything and you're 13 or
Trust
whatever.
me, yeah. I feel like I'll be good at talking to kids. Like teenagers. Because I really do understand, I don't think, like, when I watch people acting like an asshole that are 20, my immediate thought is, like, I used to do that. Like, I don't have a hard time feeling empathy for people that are, like, struggling to become good people. I feel like it took me a long time.
Yeah, me too. I agree with
And
that.
that really is all kids are doing, is they're just, like...
Figuring that out.
Figuring out. They got fucking semen and fucking hormones just raging through them.
So much semen.
It's so...
Why are they carrying bags of semen around these days? I don't know. Where are they getting it? Why are they doing that?
You don't have to carry a bag.
I don't understand.
Yeah. In case someone asks.
I guess.
You're like, yeah.
Also, paper bags? Why are you guys? Here's a plastic bag. Put your semen in this bag.
Paper bags of semen. That's tough.
Just leaking everywhere.
That's tough stuff. I went on my high school website recently.
Okay.
It's weird from the semen, but
No.
it just because
I mean, it's weird in general, but it's also weird off the
I went on my high school's website, and they're selling our old PE shirt for $12. I think I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I would.
That'd be kind of cool to work out in the shirt I worked out. Not the same shirt. And
I
obviously,
mean, the same would be awesome.
The same. No, I know it's like a fucking XXL, fucking fat guy shirt. But back in the day, it was a medium. But no, I think it'd be cool to have like a high school.
Yeah, I would like some high school gear. Sure.
Some high school gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig that. If it's the right, you know what I mean? They've got to design it, but yes.
Yeah. This was just the O, which is the first letter of our school name.
What was your school name?
Should I say it?
Oh, okay, don't.
No, I'll say it.
Yeah, because I want to go to the website.
It was Bishop O'Connell.
Bishop O'Connell.
Bishop Dennis J. O'Connell.
High school?
High school.
That's quite a name.
And our rivals was Paul VI.
Whoa, just Catholic schools?
Just Catholic schools.
Were your mascots the bishop and the pope?
No, we were the knights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We were the barons. The
Barons?
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool...
It was weird. Our guy was literally a rich guy in a top hat, like in a tuxedo and
awesome.
a top hat.
What are you saying that's weird? That's amazing.
It was weird.
He would and you would score a touchdown and like a guy would go, oh,
I feel like
maybe next time.
There was like only occasionally would like one of us dress up like the like there was very little imagery around it because I think everyone was like, what are we just like going to be like a rich weird we were a public school but like just a rich weird public school.
Barons is a hilarious name.
It is funny, right?
There's also there's robber barons. That's different from barons,
right? I think ours was not a robber baron.
Was a baron was a baron an actual title that people would have?
Oh yeah, we were the Brighton Barons. Brighton was the name of the town.
Hard to go away from the alliteration.
Yes,
you could be the Bears or the Baron. Would you rather be the Bears or the Barons?
Barons, totally.
100%.
In fact, now, oh yeah, like as a person inclined towards comedy, the Baron is hilarious.
Could you imagine if all of you had gotten smart to that in high school and would come to games in 3-piece suits and monocles?
And occasionally people did. Exactly. I wish I did more. I wish I had more of a penchant for bits like that in high school because I had all the time in the world. You know what I mean? I could have really executed a lot of great.
As long as other people are doing it. If you're the only person doing it,
I think that's funny too.
It's definitely funny, but it's hard to live as the joke.
Sure.
Because other kids would be like, "What's up with?" And they'd be like, "I think his parents are getting divorced." You would have a rough time getting hand jobs if you were the only one dressing up for the bit.
I think though, again, in my crew or whatever, they would have gotten it or so. You know what I mean?
Been funny.
Yeah, exactly. My group of friends and the people I wanted to think were
Yeah.
I don't know.
Were you crushing it in high school?
No, crushing it,
Interpret that however you want.
Crushing cans. Yes, I was
Crushing cans and putting them on the back of your bike so it sounds like a motorcycle.
Exactly. Was I doing that? Hell yeah.
Some people thought I was talking about crushing pussy. I wasn't. I was talking about stepping on a can and putting it on the back of your bicycle.
Was I crushing pussy? No. I couldn't have been farther from crushing pussy.
Yeah.
No. In fact, just saying that right now, I don't like. No, definitely not. Was not doing that at all. Was super behind and delayed and super shy and I had friends though. Like I was very social, so I had friends and I was hanging out and I had an older brother, so I was like partying also in high school.
Okay.
So I was not hooking up.
You were just like tagging along with your brother to parties?
No,
and stuff,
he introduced me to that stuff, but then my groups of friends were just because I had sort of done that, I think I partly exposed my friends to it, but then also was just more willing to be let's get beer and drink, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had a fake ID through my brother.
Oh, that's nice.
Earlier. It was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like he looked out for you a little bit.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah. You guys are tight?
Yeah. I literally was talking to him on my way over here.
Okay, what's he up to? What does he do?
Teaches in San Francisco.
Okay, what does he teach?
Math, science, middle school math, science. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like hell on earth. Teaching 7th graders. I taught for a year.
What age?
2nd grade.
Oh, that seems tough.
To me, it's easier. It's just wrangling.
Sure.
It's like when they're. I know, just moments ago, I was saying how good I would be talking to teenagers, but not all of them
at one. Yeah,
all of them at once feels like it can be a little rough.
I think I'd like to. I've never seen him teach. I mean, knowing him as my older brother, I'm sure he's fantastic. I would imagine he's fantastic because he was always great with me growing up. But and also he's super smart, so I would imagine he's understanding and able to teach math and science to middle schoolers. And everyone's I might like younger kids too. I don't know. He definitely does. He prefers older, I think, because he can talk to them. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, that's what he's doing.
It would be weird if you did just go to watch him teach. Can you imagine being in 7th grade and you walk in one day, there's a 40-year-old dude just sitting in the corner being I'm just here to watch.
I'm just here. Teachers did that. There was always a teacher in the back.
You're not a teacher. You're just a guy that doesn't work at the school.
We can
just
lie to them.
Watching.
Hey, that dude in the back's a superintendent. He's here for a day.
Somebody gets their multiplication tables right. You're just nice.
Well done.
Well done.
That's my brother. My brother taught you how to do 9 times 9.
You'd probably feel a lot of
familial pride.
Yeah,
sure.
In watching him do well. Has he seen you do stand up?
He has never seen me do stand-up. He definitely seen me do improv once or twice, but I'm not sure he's ever seen me do good, which is crazy. Or maybe he did once or something. Yeah. It was a hard, I've maybe let go of that a little bit, but I'm same with parents, right? My parents have only came to a show a couple years ago, a stand-up show.
Yeah,
see me do improv a handful of times, but seeing me, it was such a relief to have them see
you do
me
well.
Do okay, yeah, I did well, right? It's because you're you're just trying to justify, at least that's what I've been doing in my brain for the last 20 years. I swear to God, I'm doing something, guy. I may not be the best, but I'm trying to do something and I'm working at it. And yeah,
I just had Ross on the show and he did a special. He recorded a special. I don't think I'm ruining this. I don't know if he's going to use it in a special. Maybe I'll cut this out later. But he goes, at one point he goes in the mic, he's like, "Thank you all for coming. This is the only proof that I've existed for the last 20 years. Is this
fucking great.
Recording this tonight."
I love it.
It's that is kind of how it feels. I remember my dad's only seen me do stand up once, and it was my first year of doing it. So I don't think I probably did not do well. My mom has come to see me 20 times.
Oh, wow.
And she's a fan. she's always telling me to be nicer on stage. She's like, why are you so angry? I'm like,
that's what I said. My favorite comedians always, I'm like, you got to be nicer
to your comedians. I think she I took her, we did I had a weekend in North Carolina in July. Was it July? No, it was in May.
Is she down there? Where is she
No,
again?
she lives in Maryland.
Okay.
But I flew out to visit my family for a week, and then she just drove me to the show.
Oh, nice.
And like saw the first night I was headlining. And after because there's a couple jokes that are, I like talk about sex and shit, and it could be weird. And I remember like afterwards, it was like me and my mom and the club owner were talking, and the club owner goes like, "Are you comfortable watching your son talk?" And she's like, "When he's up there, it's like at this point, it's like I don't even feel like I'm watching my son. I'm just watching him, and I'm going, oh, that's like a comic that I would think was funny if I was watching on TV." And I was like, that's the best compliment you could give me.
Totally.
Is that she's not even like, she's just enjoying the show.
The art happened.
And like can take it in like you would take in any other piece of entertainment.
Yes.
So I don't know. Like I most of my friends from like high school and college have not seen me do stuff.
Similar. So, although I've posted clips on.
Clips are not seeing it.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
You're totally right. But at least for me, part of the reason of doing that was just to be like to Ross's joke of like, this is what I've been doing. Like, you haven't seen me for the last 10 years, but like, you're like, I've been working on this thing. Here's a clip of me doing it. Like, I know clips suck, and I know 30 of you are going to see it, but there it is. Great. Like, now it's out there, and I got to write more.
I feel for my dad, because he's not a big comedy fan. So I think he wants to be supportive, but it's like, it's just not a thing that he values that much in his life. So it's kind of like when you have a cat, like the way cats show you that they love you is they kill a bird and they just like
bring it
drop it at your feet. And you're like, thanks. As soon as the cat leaves, you just throw it in the
garbage.
That's kind of what my dad must feel like. If I like, Dad, look how good. He's like, that's great, son. Yeah, right.
Well done. That's great.
That's good. How's your day job going?
I love it. My day job?
No. That's what my dad would.
I was like, ugh.
My dad's so happy my day job's going well now. He's so happy.
Do you know are you a Monty Python guy? Do you know
I've seen 2 of their movies.
Oh, okay. They have a great sketch, which is like, it's just like a reversal map. It's like a father-son arguing, but the father is wait, I have to get this right. The father is the artist, and the son is the laborer. Okay,
great.
And so they're having, like, it's just the classic argument that the parent and the child have had a million times, but the dad is like screaming at him about being an artist, and the son is like, you don't understand. You know what I mean? It's great. You should watch it.
That's so funny.
It's just like, this is how that, totally. The bird thing is great.
When me and Liz talk about having kids, I feel like we're like, wouldn't that be funny if we have like a serious kid? Like a kid that's just like, I gotta do well in school and that's the way forward. Like, that would be fucking hilarious.
Oh, my dad's doing his comedy again.
Oh, God. Dad, can you stay in and watch me, please?
Right.
Like, just like a real stickler to the rules. Like, that would be awesome. I feel like there's...
That might be how it... You know what I mean? I feel like we're always inclined to, partly at least, to do the things that we didn't have access to, were kept from, or... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
My dad was a big computer video game guy growing up, and like we had a computer, we had like cool fucking games, and I played them, but like I'm not a gamer as an adult.
Yeah.
Could care less, like, because I had this like insane access to it as a kid.
But you know what your dad never did?
Hug me.
Laugh. And that is why
he did never. You're right. He's never laughed.
He never pretended to be a raccoon and did a 3-minute scene in a Herald with you, and that is why. You're 100% right. It's just like it's you.
So maybe they will be like, forget the comedy and the arts. Yeah. I'm actually gonna make some money.
What do you think? What do you think your kid? If you had to guess what your kid's job will be when they grow up, what do you think it would be?
A really good
based on their personality now. Keeping it generic, by the way.
Maybe like a musician or like a musician. She's really into music.
Okay.
She's one. So like when I say really into music, she goes like this when music is playing, right? But
that's enough.
That's what all I've got these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, well, I've said this to Sarah, my wife. I'm like, I will not. I was encouraged to try and pursue whatever I want as a kid, and I will not be doing that to my children. Like, I will encourage them to get jobs and make money, which is insane because like that is a terrible way to go about going after, or like it's a terrible thing to construct your life around. But that's my advice. And then I'm like, and then do whatever you want. Like, make sure, do you know what I mean? That would be my only, it's like, don't,
Get a great.
Clearly, I'm dealing with some shit.
Get a great job so you can have a great life when you're not at work.
Exactly.
Like you can just do like. Here's the thing. Like, if your kid makes the choice to be a broke artist, I'm like, okay, well, I do have a lot of advice for that.
Right.
Like, I can walk you through being that. I was that myself.
Yep.
When it comes to like, if I was telling a kid to like be successful, I don't have any advice for how to do that.
Right.
Other than to just be like, just find a way to have money.
Right.
Like, how, Dad? I don't know. I just know that
go to school, get a real job. Like, don't wait tables for 10 years. Don't bartend for 10 years. Like, I mean, like,
if you go to college, go for a business degree.
Right, exactly.
Otherwise, don't go to college.
Right.
Like, just get a job.
100%. Get a degree.
Kind of shit.
Totally. Like, let's sit down and talk about careers that make money. And like, again, like, it's so gross, but like, exactly like you said, it just gives. Here's the thing. I've always had a job. Right? So I've always had a job that I didn't want. So even broke, I was waiting tables. It's not like I've been like not getting to not work as a broke artist the whole time. It's like I've always had a job. So it's like, why? I should have just gone to a job that actually pays me money. Like, you dumb idiot. You just, instead of making money, you just have been working making no money because that was like the way artists did it or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of like, and it's also like the romanticized version of like what you hear. I remember when I first moved to New York, I would get a job. I used to just print out like 300 resumes, and I would just pick a street in Williamsburg or somewhere. I would just walk to every single business and hand a thing. I'd get a job. I'd work there for a week, and then like, I'd have like a class, like a stand-up class would fall on the same night, and I would just quit the job. Whoa. Go to the class, and then the next morning go and just hand out more.
Whoa.
And every time I'd run out of resumes, I would just go print 300 more. I did that for a year. I probably had like 10 or 15 jobs in my first year of New York. Eventually, I ran out of money that I'd saved.
Right.
But like, yeah, it was such a stupid way to be.
See, I always was envious of that. Like, that was another thing I never did. It was like, I got my restaurant job to do that, and I never did it. It was always like, no, I've got to, I always showed up to work when I was supposed to. Yeah. I never was like this thing, or, I got off when I needed to, but like, I was never like, just, okay, I quit because this opportunity here. And that's, I think, is part of what you need to do if you're trying to do that or something. So
I remember when I was going on like dates in Williamsburg. We'd be walking around, and she'd be like, "You want to go into that coffee shop?" I'd be like, "I can't. I got fired from there." You want to go over there? I can't. I got fired from like 10 different spots, right along Bedford Ave in Williamsburg, because that's like the one street I knew where I found the place online. So I just would work at every fucking place.
That is so
and immediately get fired. Yeah, it's just really not like, I don't know. Like, I guess. I make it sound, my parents were better parents than that. Like, I could have just asked for advice. I could have just like had a real conversation with somebody, but like, I don't think they were super supportive of me going to New York when I first went. So I was like, well, I'm fucking doing it. And I saved up money at this timeshare job I had, put like 10 grand in the bank, moved up to New York, and was like, I think this is how you be an artist. I was squatting in a condemned building. I was quitting a job like once every 2 or 3 weeks.
You weren't squatting, were you?
I was squatting for a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
Not paying rent?
not paying rent.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So I
At 20? You're 20? Right out of college?
No, I'm 21, 22.
Damn.
So I moved up, and I wasn't squatting originally. Like I wired money to this guy in Williamsburg. I literally found Williamsburg because I was working in Colonial Williamsburg. That's the reason. I didn't even know where Williamsburg was. If you put a gun to my head and be like, where's Williamsburg, New York? I was like, I don't know. I didn't even know it was in Brooklyn. I didn't know there were 5 boroughs. I knew nothing.
Sure.
So
I can relate to that.
I get on a bus, drive up. I find where Williamsburg is on the map. I had my fucking address on a Post-it. Be like, show up on the 1st on this day. And I just showed up with a bag and moved into this place. And then within a month, it got condemned. And the guy had been like not paying rent or whatever. And I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't know anybody in New York. So I was just like, I remember like there were marshals were like in the space kicking people out. And I was just I was just sitting in my room like, there's nowhere for me to go. Like, I don't have another place. They're like, you have to go. Everybody has to go. Be out by 8 p.m. I was like, okay. I just stayed at 8:01 p.m. They never came back. And I was just in there.
For a year.
For a little over a year.
Hot water?
Yeah, there was hot water. We put hot water.
Electricity?
We were able to call because it was the guy that had taken our money. It was actually, I think I was there for maybe 2 months before the marshals came, because he left. He never gave back anybody's deposits, and he made us give like 3 months deposit or some crazy shit. Whatever.
Right.
It was like very scammy. I would obviously never do it now, but like at the time I was like, yeah, that's normal. Wire somebody $1,000 that I've never met, and then write the address down on a Post-it and move to New York. So he had $1,000 of my money, and the room I was staying in was at 8 by 8 with no windows. So it was like, what was I paying for? $340 a month. And so in my mind, I was like, well, I should stay for at least 3 months because he has 3 months of my rent.
Hell yeah.
And then after 3 months, I was like, well, if nobody's going to kick me out, I guess I'll hang out. So we were able to like call the heating and the water company, and like he had like not paid the bills for years, but we just found the minimums and just paid those to keep it on. And then we all moved there were exterior rooms with windows, and there was like 12 of those, and there were like 20 cut up boxes in the center of this factory space. That's where I was staying. So I just moved my shit across into the empty window room and used the room that I had paid for as my closet. There were no locks on the doors. It was crazy. Like, a lot of the people that ended up staying had like serious drug issues. I never brought anybody back.
No one stole your shit ever, or like?
No one stole my shit. Like, we put like padlocks on the door, on the main door.
Sure.
So we had to have like somebody that was always there to like let people. It sounds so fucking crazy. It was
it sounds like a great 21-year-old like New York story.
There was 12 of us there, and like that ended up staying after it got condemned. And they stayed longer, but they got. I quickly like. For a while, I was like, oh, these are like my people. We're going to be friends forever. But then I realized, like, I didn't know what a hipster was.
Sure.
These were like loser hipster people there. So after like 6 months, I was like, okay, this is getting a little fucking old with some of the shit that's going on here. Like,
sure.
I get it. Like, we're all young, but like, I don't want to see people doing fucking heroin. Like, that's not cool. And like, you know, like people taking like 40-minute showers when there's 2 working showers and 12 people wait. Just like basic, like not non-considerate stuff.
Sure.
There was one dude there that was going to NYU, but like stayed in the condemned. I remember like when I found out he went to NYU, I just lost all respect for him. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the breaking point was at a little, whatever it was, like 18 months, whenever it was coming up on winter. And they finally just turned off the heat. Like, we stopped. The minimum got too much for people to pay, and they were like, "Well, we should just everybody should just like light candles in the room at night." It was like heat and electricity went off, and I was like, "Well, the whole reason this place is condemned is because there's no fire escapes, and we're on the 5th floor. So if something catches on fire, we're just supposed to jump out of a 5-story building. There's no way to get out." And people were like, yeah, instead of paying an extra $30 to keep the fucking heat and lights on, we're all gonna light candles in our rooms.
Lighting stuff on fire.
And I moved out like a month later. It got too crazy.
I love how at 21 you're like, okay, like I'm too smart for this now. Even.
Yeah, I mean, look, it fit for a year. For the first year in New York where I like really didn't know anything and like wanted to like get into comedy, like
sure.
Yeah. And
Totally.
and my priority was like I took so many fucking classes that year. Like I went to I took classes at every single theater.
Interesting.
I was doing open mics. I was doing literally 7 nights a week for over a year.
Whoa.
And I felt like when I moved out of that place and got an apartment, then I was like, okay, I'll try to like have a real job. And I got a real job that I worked at for 4 years. And it became like a more
stable.
Slightly more stable.
Were you in Queens? Is that at some point? Or no? Were you always
I lived in every borough.
Whoa.
Because I was in Staten Island for like a week.
I was like, what?
And then I was in Brooklyn. And then I was in Manhattan. I was in Harlem. And then I was in Astoria. I never lived in the Bronx. Yeah. But now I feel like people go to the Bronx.
Yeah.
The Bronx is like now
sure.
Whatever. When I was in Harlem, I got gentrified out of Harlem. I moved in. I was like one of the first white people to come in. It was still pretty cheap. And then our building like went up. They built like a coffee shop downstairs. And then I got out. I couldn't afford it. And then I moved to Queens.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
You got gentrified out of Harlem.
It was like me and like 20 black dudes watching a fucking Whole Foods go up on
like,
125th and being like, oh, here they come.
The white people are coming.
Here they come.
Here they come.
Yeah, man.
That's great.
New York was great, man. It was a good whatever.
I love New York. Yeah, I was in Brooklyn the whole time. I love New York. Yeah, New York's a good city, but also the right time to leave for me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's New York is New York.
I feel like when I'm like maybe I could move back. I'm like I can't move back to being 23.
No, when I win the lottery, I can move back. Do you know what I mean?
Nice,
like
big rich guy.
Yeah, exactly. When I can buy a brownstone in like the West Village, yeah, it'll be real nice to move back to New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you have a car, anytime you like, it's with all the money in the world, that city becomes livable. Like you can buy space and you can, but like the normal like doing what I was doing in my like
the hustle, the schlep.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Were you working? What jobs were you working? Like multiple jobs in New York when you were there?
Mostly like for 7 of the 10 years I was there, I worked at one restaurant, and then I worked at probably like 5 places, but like 3 of them were like, it was like that one restaurant, then a couple years at another venue, which was great, and then like a couple other short ones. But I would, if a place wasn't making me money or wasn't a good fit, like again, I was there to do like I partied my ass off too much, but like I was there for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if I wasn't making enough, I got a job that could support me essentially, like right, taking classes and going to shows and whatever.
Yeah. Fun to think of those priorities, what they were back then.
Oh my God. And zero. It was like pay the rent, responsibility wise, like pay the rent.
Zero. Like even like my own health.
Right. Well, you were healthy. There was no like that was like, what do you mean? Like I'm like fucking doing great. I don't need a doctor.
I'm
like,
alive.
Yeah.
What's the dentist?
Right.
When I'm a baby.
Right. Exactly.
Now I'm like, I got to get back to the dentist.
The dentist. Don't get me started.
I have a lot of cavities right now.
I feel like hundreds in my mouth. So.
Yeah. Every time I go to the dentist, they're like the last couple times they've been like, you have 3 cavities. I'm like, okay, I'll wait. You have 5 cavities. I'm like, yeah, okay, we're getting close. Last time I went, they were like, you have 10 cavities. Are you going to take care of this? I was like, how? And then they told me how much. I'm like, nope.
No, I'm not.
I'm just going to have cavities, it seems like.
I think it was last year. It was like similar to that. And I did
So
it finally
expensive.
because they're like, we're just like, yeah.
Well, you can go to a school. There's a school in North Hollywood.
Scared me.
And like the students do it.
Yeah, I don't want that.
You don't want that?
No, someone learning how to do that on me.
But I think they'll be good. But there's somebody watching, right?
Sure. And like they're going to make sure it's not like a total mess, but like, I don't
job?
know. I just like,
Yeah.
that stuff scares me. My teeth, it's like the one of, you know what I mean? Like me is one of the few things I'll do that for everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'll let students make my car if you charge me half as much. But I don't, my mouth, like, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Did you go there?
No, I'm thinking about it. I have to go get.
It's so expensive.
I have to
get
get these cavities taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Last year I spent, and out of nowhere, and you're like, what? That's the adult stuff. You're like, what? Like, I got to pay for this now?
If your kid needs braces, which they all need braces.
Of course.
Why are braces like that? Well, it's
like expensive, you mean?
Why are they that expensive?
I don't know. Yeah. Or
that seems like there should be some sort of like a politician should run on
like
cheaper
cheap
braces.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we should just have universal health care. It blows my mind sometimes. I'm like, I have a kid, as you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oftentimes it's like, I'm like, how the fuck did my parents do this? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that thing of like, oh my God.
You ever ask them?
I'll see them in a couple of weeks, so like I think I will. Like, I know how they did it. They were stressed out all the time. We didn't have enough money. You know what I mean? I mean, we did have we had more than, like, I was never hungry. We had all the things met by far. But it's like, it's that thing of like, it's hard. It's hard, right?
Do you think your parents are still together?
Yeah.
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 Is it a happy marriage, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I mean, my family talked
Is
a lot.
my mom watching this? Or?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's a big fan.
My parents would talk a lot about like I know. I don't know. This is probably too much.
Not for me. It's not.
No, definitely not for you. No, our family was very open about like
the bullshit. What?
No, I just mean like when my parents got divorced, I like knew what was going on in their relationship. You know what I mean? But like, are you guys aren't up in each other's business?
We are a little bit, I think, or like, I got a Jewish mom, so like she's up in my business. Is that what you mean? I don't quite 100%. Maybe now.
I realized like halfway through this line of questioning, and even the fact that it's a line of questioning, I was like, am I asking Andrew if his parents still fuck? Because it kind of sounded like that.
Is that what you're asking?
I think that was what I was asking.
Currently, I don't know if they're still. I mean, I'm assuming like they're in their 70s. So
hopefully.
like, yeah, I hope they are.
People fuck in their 70s.
They do, right?
I lived with my grandparents for 2 years when my parents split up. Like my mom was staying there, and I had a bedroom right underneath my grandparents, and they were in their 70s. They were fucking every night.
No.
Yes.
You were listening to your grandparents.
I wasn't fucking listening.
You were jerking off to your grandparents.
Couldn't get enough. No, they was fucking like, it's like these thin old 70s houses that they were living in. So it might as well have been in fucking stereo in my bedroom.
What was the fucking like?
I'm not gonna get
Come
that
on.
into
Come
it.
on.
I don't know if my mom's
I
listening.
need some details.
No, they were fucking into it.
You really?
Yes.
Did it last a long time, or were you like, oh, that's...
I don't remember that level of detail. At some point, the pillow was over my head.
Sure.
But as a kid, you're like, this is fucking gross.
Gross.
Obviously, this is gross.
Right.
Now, as an adult, I'm like, good for fucking them.
Yeah. Oh,
good for them.
Big time.
I think you should be fucking until you're dead.
Yeah, totally. If you can. Right? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Like 90-year-olds can fuck. You just have to be slow.
Sure.
And careful. Sure. Probably have to use.
I have to be slow and careful now. I'm going to be 40 soon. Yeah.
You move a leg the wrong way.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm out for 2 weeks. Yeah. I can't, like.
No, but like you should definitely be fucking.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I don't know if they're. I mean, like, I hope they are. I don't know. Like I said, I'll see him a couple weeks, so maybe I'll just like hear.
But your mom would never tell you that. She'd never be like, Andrew,
absolutely
your father.
Not.
Last night,
fucking just fucking gave it to me,
taking it to the streets.
If she said that, I would like, hold on, let me have a cup of coffee at least while we're doing. Like, I would love if my mom went into detail about
No, it's I hope for everybody out there. Yeah, like I don't know. Now it's like as you get older, you're like 40 or 70. That's only 30 years away.
I know.
I better be fucking.
Yeah, totally. If I'm alive.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance you won't be alive?
Sure.
I mean, of course there is a chance, but like, Would you
think
bank on you living to 70.
I think so, but like I also think there's like a 20 to 30% chance that I am dead in 10, 15 years, like just from a heart attack. Like, so part of me thinks that, like, you know how like the boomers were all like, oh my God, they're living to like their 80s or 90s. Like, you know what I mean? Like people in their 70s now, like might go another 20 years for sure.
But you think the pendulum's going to swing back?
I think it already has. Like, I think a lot, like healthcare, like, yeah, they all had healthcare their whole lives through their jobs, right? Like, we haven't we pay for healthcare now and I hate it. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's so expensive. I have healthcare, but seeing a doctor is so expensive still. So it's like all that stuff makes me be like, no, like I go to a doctor, but like I need to go to a doctor.
You go when you have to go.
Yeah, and at that point, exactly.
I found out I have adult asthma yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they gave me a little inhaler.
Nice.
I get like a new thing every time I go to the. It's like the worst new thing you can get. I'm not getting like a fucking new race car.
Sure.
I'm getting a new pill or a new inhaler.
But they're not even fun pills. They're like, this is a cholesterol type.
They're all anal suppositories. Everything's got to go straight up.
They make ones you can swallow, but we're giving you the anal suppository.
I'm also scared of putting it in myself, so Liz has been doing God's work. I mean, it's
one more reason she's pulling. Yeah.
one more reason.
Hold on. What did we just say?
We were just talking about how you're gonna die.
Oh, right. I just think our generation is going to be. I think our generation is weirdly less healthy than our parents' generation. Let's say the boomer. Depending on where everyone is, but the boomers versus the next.
I think it's I don't think it's our generation. What are we, Z?
No, we're millennials, I think.
We're millennials. What's the one after us?
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay, I'll be 40, so we're the same age.
Okay, so the people that are 30 right now and 20 right now,
right.
Whoever they are.
Z's, I think.
Okay. I hear the Z's are fucked up because they like do a lot of vaping.
That makes sense. Okay, so maybe we're gonna skirt by.
I think we're skirting by on the boomers, and I think these ones coming up are gonna be fucked up.
We eat a lot of organic food in my house, and I'm like, this better give me a 10 to 15. Like, my parents didn't eat organic. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
no, of course
growing
not.
up, I mean, it didn't exist growing up. So like, or like, it didn't exist as we know it now. So yeah, that part of me is like, I'm like, I've got to be a step ahead in that sense. Do you know what I mean?
Look, like I would rather go to Sweet Green than McDonald's. I think that's probably good.
Sometimes.
Every time.
Really?
You think there's a time where McDonald's is better for you than Sweet Green?
Not better for me, no, but I want McDonald's 9 times out of 10 over Sweet Green. I want a burger, let's say. McDonald's isn't my choice of burger.
But I'm even saying, like, just like, I think the idea of eating healthier is a thing that's maybe in our...
Yes, I see what...
And like, even like the things that
you're totally right.
Even the things that we think are healthy now have got to be better.
Yes.
The idea of like pouring myself a glass of milk this tall and just drinking it slowly every day. I mean, as a kid, yeah, but my parents used to drink the milk too.
Right.
And they were in their 40s. That's crazy to me.
Right.
I couldn't stomach a glass.
I hate milk.
Full glass of
cereal.
Milk.
I had a bowl of
Cereal's
cereal
great.
This morning. So
yeah, but that's
milk.
not the same as
just chugging milk
just
like a crazy.
Chugging milk.
Milk is gross. I agree.
Take milk to the face. It's tough.
No, I'd rather take a lot of other things to the face before
And I have
milk.
taken.
And I have. Yeah, I agree. So maybe you're right. Okay, we'll see.
I think we'll be okay. I don't think we're gonna be like the living to 100. Right. I think we're gonna be like living to like 90.
I tried to do a bit. I never like was able to work it, but just like that, the premise of which is just like I'm just in my mind, I'm in a race against like the AI fixing everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like I'm like, no, I'm gonna eat cheeseburgers and like they're gonna figure it out in because I got 20, 30 years, right? Yeah. And it's just like, okay, we are at the point where it's like maybe in 30 years they're gonna figure out cholesterol, heart conditions, cancer, you know what I mean? Like that's possible.
While they're at it, ozone would be great.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Stopping war would be nice too.
That would be a nice one too. There's a lot of things.
They've got their work cut out for them. Those computers.
Getting dudes' dicks hard at 70 also very important.
Totally. I mean, your grandpa's a prime example. I don't know if not to say he was necessarily using.
I don't know if he needed it. I don't know if he needed it. He was. They were a good couple in that regard. You know.
I mean, God bless them. That's what you want, right? Like, that's what you want for just everyone. Yes. Just like a healthy relationship.
Healthy sexual. I remember like we'd be at dinner sometimes, and like they would drink wine, and my grandfather would be like, "Ooh, your grandma's just looking very good." She was French. He'd be like, "Your grandma's just looking very good," and my mom would be like, "Everybody leave!" like
clear the room.
They would literally like
French. So they were like a cliche French.
French. She was Latina.
Love it.
They had a fiery
Mexican is right or
Mexican,
no?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
From
you have a lot of good.
You're actually looking at it right there. That's the Oaxaca Guerreros where we went on vacation.
Oh,
and that's where my grandmother's family's from. Is Oaxaca.
Cool.
So that was kind of cool.
At the restaurant I worked in New York, there was a dude who was from Oaxaca, who's a name I don't know, but because everyone called him Oaxaca.
Yeah,
he was a good dude.
It's a interesting spot. I honestly want to like send my friends there.
Really?
I'd be like, everybody should go to Puerto Escondido. That's where we went for the first half of our trip. We stayed at a hotel right on the beach. It's like an expensive hotel in that I think we spent like $170 a night.
That doesn't feel expensive to me.
Well, that was the most expensive hotel there.
Oh, okay.
So we were staying on like a fucking cliffside overlooking the ocean with a restaurant and like the most beautiful view, and you open your door into fucking like the Atlantic Ocean.
Where do you fly into?
We flew into, I think there are direct flights there, but we flew into Mexico City.
Okay, which is how, and then drove or something?
It was like 4 hours and then an hour.
Okay. You rent a car?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would not want to drive. It's kind of wild down there with the driving.
I'm scared.
Like people own parts of the road. So I'm like, is there a point where I'm going to have to like negotiate with somebody?
So how did you get from Mexico City to?
Well, we had a connecting flight.
Oh, okay.
But then we took a bus from Puerto Escondido to Oaxaca City. That was like a 3-hour bus, but it was on a new highway.
Okay.
And they were like, this used to take 9 hours, but now it only takes 3 because there's a brand new highway to take. And there were multiple points where I was like kind of like dozing off on the trip, and I would just open my eyes, and we're on the road going 80 miles an hour, and it's just straight down. Like it's like a bus, no guardrail. Like the security in Mexico is wild. Like it's just like anytime you hear like a Latin American player like died in a car accident, I used to be like, how are so many of these guys going and dying? And I'm like, now
you get it.
I get it. It's fucking. And we were saying, like, even if you're rich in Mexico, like, I feel like I saw 10 guys almost die in the week. Everybody, by the way, never felt unsafe, like someone's going to pickpocket me or rob me. Like, it honestly just felt like walking around, like, New Orleans or any city in the U.S.
Wow.
It was just the safety precautions aren't there yet.
Sure.
Like
a little regulation you do respect. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, having lines on the road is helpful.
I've never thought about like crosswalks. Sure. Like what would it be like if there were no crosswalks? Or like there's a crosswalk every third major intersection. But like we'd get to crosswalks and there'd be cars racing up and we'd be like, do we go?
Do we wait? Right.
And sometimes you would like wait and they'd be like, go. You'd be like, okay. And then sometimes we'd go and they'd be like, what the fuck are you?
Right,
Slam on the brake.
Right.
And you're like, what are you doing?
Who's doing what?
Who's doing what?
Right.
So there's a little bit of that, but beyond that, it was fucking awesome.
It's funny, like in people I feel like don't really jaywalk here. In LA, do you feel that way?
They don't.
Whereas, like here. In New York, it is like, it's like not. It's just you just do it. Just because you're going. It's so crazy not to do it. Yeah. So I still do it, like second nature. But I feel like it often will throw people off. Or again, I'm not like stopping traffic to do it. I'm always doing it when I can, right?
Yeah.
But it is this funny thing where I'm like, oh, people are very like. They don't do it here or something. There's an air about it here.
I remember when I was a kid, my mom took us to New York, and I was watching people jaywalk, and then we were trying to go somewhere. I was like, damn, I think we were going to like fucking FAO Schwartz or something. And I just started to step out into the street to go when somebody else was going. And my mom like fucking grabbed. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "We're just fucking walking. That guy's going right now. What are you freaking out about?" And then every time I would like jaywalk in New York, I'd have like a flashback to my mom
being like, "There's a car."
Being like, you know what? Now I'm an adult. Now I get to die.
I can do it.
Now I can get hit by a cab.
Well, you do have to like look, but I mean, you do have to not be an idiot. Like, it is that thing of like, again, you can't just fucking walk. It's like you've got to make sure the street's open.
There's so many street dogs in Mexico. There's a ton of street dogs, and I love dogs. And for the first day, you're like, "Oh, I'm so sad about these dogs." But then, like a weekend,
kicking a dog.
No, a week. You're just eating a dog. Yeah, exactly. No, a weekend, you're like, "Oh, the dogs do not need people." The dogs have their own thing. Like, I saw the same dog multiple times. Like in when we were in Puerto Escondido, we had like a cat that was like living would come into the hotel we were staying in, just like hang out.
They're like working at the hotel. A dog stops you from jaywalking. He's like, "What are you doing?"
No, they were like literally, like, I remember we were sitting down eating, and there was a dog that like went out to the road and looked both ways and fucking crossed. And I was like, the dog is jaywalking.
Right.
And the dogs would just like, there's like a road. Cars are going 30, 40 miles an hour, a little median in between. And there'd be like 6 dogs just chilling in the shade in the median, in the roadway. And then they'd come out, peek their head out.
And look.
And walk.
Well, it's like, we feel like that's crazy, but every dog who didn't do that, we know just got fucking, creamed by a fucking
well, it's just
semi.
like, I walk my dog and he like lunges for cars because he doesn't understand.
Oh, dude, mine same.
There's a little part of me where I'm like, I should take him to Mexico and let him get hit lightly, a light hit, so he learns.
Sure,
that feels like the only way.
That's good. Well, yeah, I think only way. My dog would not. I think about that often when I'm like, where he's just like busy intersection and sometimes we're like at the light and he tries to go before it turns. And I'm like, dude,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? I get it. You're excited. I'm excited too. We're on a walk. I'm excited.
But wouldn't the dog know, like even if the dog doesn't know it's a car, he thinks it's just a big dog.
No, I think they're moving too fast even for dogs to
register
or to like react to, you know what I mean? It's like at that speed coming that quick. They're not like, you know what I mean? They haven't evolved to like dodge that or something.
But it feels like the Mexico dogs have evolved.
Well, I think they have learned
to look.
Yes. And I think they've learned to look. The ones who didn't learn to look get hit and die, and then the ones who are born are then seeing their parents. Like it is a learned.
We met a very cute dog on we did like a tour, a mezcal tour, and there was this very cute dog that we were playing with, and she was a puppy, and we were like, what's her story? And they're like, this is Jaden or whatever, and her mom and all her sisters are dead. They all got hit by cars. We're like, okay. That makes sense.
Glad I asked.
Yeah, now I know. She's like, I was like, because there was another older dog hanging out. We were like, oh, that must be her mother. She was like, no, that's like her uncle, and that's just another dog that's been hanging out. It kind of feels like the dogs choose you in Mexico less than you choose.
I like that.
Like you're just hanging out, and then the dog's like, you're going to feed me for the next 5 years. It just follows you home, and you're like, I have a dog now.
Okay.
It kind of feels, and we would see people walking dogs, and we'd be like, get that fucking dog off the leash. Like,
look at all these dogs.
It's when you watch nothing but free dogs. The leash dogs,
feels crazy.
They seem insane. You're like, oh, those dogs live a terrible...
I went to Santiago, Chile years ago, and tons of stray dogs there as well. And I remember it being like, whoa. Like,
it's wild.
It is wild.
But they're not like vicious.
No,
dogs.
they're not like feral, right? Yeah, no, they're
just hanging.
Right.
We'd walk on the street. There'd just be dogs sleeping, and people just knew to step over them.
Yeah.
If it was that in LA, like that dog would die from a bird scooter in like 10 seconds.
Right. Anyway. And you felt safe? Are you rapping?
We are, but we'll finish here.
You felt safe in Mexico? That's my worry about Mexico.
It's I really did feel safe.
Okay.
Like the only thing we didn't feel safe in was doing, like that we did activities, and some of the safety precautions were just like, hey, careful over there, like that.
Gotcha.
Like we did a bioluminescence tour.
Oh, nice.
Which, do you know that where you jump in the water and you glitter and stuff?
Yeah.
But like the way to the lagoon is just a 40-minute speedboat race in the dark with other speedboats coming the opposite direction. And the boat didn't have lights. The guy who was driving it would just hang over the side and click a flashlight on for like 10 seconds and then click it off. And then we'd be driving. I'd be like, oh, I think there's one coming towards us. And you hear like, and it would roar by like maybe 50 feet away from you.
Oh, no, my
You'd
God.
be like, whoa. Now, I'm sure those guys have
know
like
what they're
they know what they're
doing.
doing. They have a system, but it's not a fucking system.
Right.
It's like if somebody's drinking or whatever, like
Right.
you
Or just like one little, it's dark. Right, of course. It's like, we have a system on the road here, but people are fucking it up all the time.
yeah,
right?
like we read we read that there were crocodiles. So like when we went on the thing, I was like, I'm not going in the water. I'll just drip my hand in or whatever. And then I was like, they'll probably give some big speech on crocodiles when we get there. We get to the part of the lagoon we're supposed to jump in, and everybody jumps, like children are jumping in. I'm like sitting there like, I'm not going to do it. And then the guy spoke a little bit of English, and I was like, crocodile? And he goes, no crocodile. I just looked at Liz. I was like, let's just swim with the kids around us. So if the kid that comes, it'll have to.
They're going for the little.
They're going for the little appetizer first, probably.
They don't want to fight you.
So that was the move. Was just like you just kind of do shit. I remember there was like a natural spring, and they said it was at the top of a mountain you could jump into, and there's all these photos online of people swimming in the spring. We get there, nobody's swimming in it, and they were like, the guy was like, this switches hands every year by who runs it. So there was the signs walking up would be like, do not go into the natural springs. And the next one would be like, no sunscreen when you go in the water. At no point may you enter, in Spanish and in English. And then the next sign would be like, bathing suits, welcome. And we get there, it's fucking boiling hot. We have 2 hours there. There's like 80 people just hanging around the spring, just looking at each other. And I'm like, I'm fucking going in. I wore a bathing suit. I jump in like 20 minutes later, like there's 50 people in there swimming and laughing. And then there was like a tour guide walking by, and I was like, hey man, are we allowed to be in here? And he goes, yeah, I think so. He just kept walking. Like nobody really knows what is the rule there. So it's just kind of like everybody just kind of follows.
Yeah.
And you just have to be smart. Otherwise you'll get fucked up. Yeah, that's the part that's crazy is like the safety regulations. Everything else is fucking.
Also, with a kid, I've got one, like, there's no way I'm doing that with
No,
them. The boat ride, I would have been like, turn it, I'll pay twice as much. Stop the boat right now. Let's paddle back. I can't do this.
What's fun about the boat ride, I said this in the last pod, but whatever, it's a little bit of repeat. But like when the guy would flash the light on, there was not enough seats on the boat. So in the front of the boat, there was a dad holding his two little kids. They're maybe like 5 or 6. And everybody's wearing a life vest. But when he would flash the light, he's flashing the light from the back of the boat, so it's illuminating the faces of the dad and the 2 kids. So it would be like, I'm in the front seat. The family's sitting maybe 6 feet in front of me, and I can't see them, right? Like, it's pitch black. But whenever the light would flash on, I would just see the kid's terrified face holding on to his dad, and then off. Oh. And then 10 seconds later on, like that was my fucking movie going out to the lagoon, was how fucking terrified the kid was.
Yeah.
But it was, look, all that said, it was like the best trip we've ever been on.
That's great.
Like it was incredible.
Cool.
So yeah, I recommend it to anybody who doesn't have a 1-year-old. And maybe I'd even,
in 30 years, when I'm just back in the fucking zone,
I will say this too. When your kid gets older, it'd be good to take a kid on a trip to Mexico. Because there is like a level of like, there's a lot to learn from seeing how different cultures are and what it's like in places that aren't fucking a suburb, LA, wherever you live. Like, to me, I was like, I would have liked to have come to places like this when I was a kid. It would have given me some perspective that maybe I didn't have till now.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm glad you turned your chair to face me halfway through the pod.
I actually,
you were doing that.
I wish you got more of my ear.
This is what you were doing.
I was facing the camera. So like,
the camera, this is probably, I don't know. We got to find a way to split the difference. The next time you come on this podcast, I might have a different setup. I think this table's going away.
Okay. I like the table.
Do you like the table?
Yeah.
All right.
I need something to lean. I like leaning. I like this. You know what I mean?
You're a forward.
I'm a hunched angry person. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get like a comfy chair that you can do this with your arms.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
And then like I might get the mic that just comes down and hangs, so you can hang your hands.
And no table, so they're just gonna be looking at my crotch
looking at your fucking belly.
This fucking gut.
Your belly.
I don't even.
I mean, I'd probably also like angle it up so it's like coming chest
Just
high.
my tits.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're nailing it. This is what I want.
Yeah.
I want to get your tits.
Invest in some fucking armchairs. Great.
Should people still go to your social media? Will they see things there?
If they want. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
No, yeah, sure. Andrew YG. We do this. I do this with Rob, and Rob's like, "What are you doing?"
Just give your
At Andrew YG at Andrew Yurman Glaser on Instagram. Yeah, my name Andrew YG.
Andrew YG.
YG.
And that's on
Instagram, Twitter.
Clapper.
I don't know if I have a clapper. TikTok, Instagram.
Every time I let someone do their plugs, I ask them if they have a clapper. I get funny responses every time.
I'm doing a lot of flim flam lately. If you guys could follow me at Andrew #3 comedy. I was the third one who signed up.
Hop on. I made it.
It's mine. But
Hop on Rumble.
I don't think I will.
Rumble's fun.
Is it?
Rumble's fun. It'll be like your video, and then it pops over to like Roger Stone talking about fucking JFK getting shot. It's kind of fun.
Kill me.
There's some fun stuff over there.
If I never go on social media again, I think I'll die happy.
Yeah.
I'll be on social media later today, but if I never go on it again, I'd die happy.
Well, that's as good a place as any to leave this. Stay off your phones, kids.
And follow us on social media.
And follow us on social media. Thanks for doing the show, man.
Thank you.